21 Capital has entered the chat, guys. We have another big player in the Bitcoin space, and I am hyped. When you think about the impact that a company like Strategy has had on Bitcoin adoption, they're a company who has just been aggressively acquiring Bitcoin, stacking Bitcoin like there's no tomorrow. Now you potentially have another company who is going to be doing the same thing, using the same strategies and aggressively acquiring Bitcoin. And as the Bitcoin supply starts to run out faster because of 21 Capital entering the market, this is going to influence other companies out there. It's potentially going to influence nation states to hop into the game and start getting some exposure to Bitcoin. So really big news. We're going to be talking about the impact in this video. Before we do get into it, please make sure to like the video and also subscribe to the YouTube. Really appreciate your support. I'm also going to put a QR code down below for a Bitcoin tip. So if you want to support the channel, feel free to leave me a little tip. Now let's get into it. When we got the news that 21 Capital had entered the game last week, we saw a ton of enthusiasm, and for good reason. This is going to be a company that is solely focused on stacking Bitcoin, like Strategy. They're backed by Cantor Fitzgerald, Tether, and SoftBank, three huge entities, and they're also going to be headed by Jack Mallers. He's going to be the CEO, and if you don't know who Jack Mallers is, he's also the CEO of Strike. He's the head of the Money Matters podcast, and he's someone who just really fundamentally understands Bitcoin. He's one of my favorite voices in the Bitcoin space, and I think he understands that right now is a prime opportunity to be stacking Bitcoin. With all the bullish news we've seen over the past 6 months, the fact that Bitcoin is under $100,000, I think that 21 Capital is going to waste no time getting their Bitcoin stack up and running a lot higher. This company, 21 Capital, is going to be trading under Cantor Equity Partners on the stock market, and we have seen a ton of enthusiasm there. This chart shows Cantor Equity Partners stock performance over the past month, and as you can see, around April 22nd, April 24th, we saw Cantor Equity Partners start to fly higher. It's up 177% over the past 5 days. And this makes sense, right? Look at how much Strategy has appreciated over the past 5 years. Strategy has been the best performing stock on the stock market, and now we have another strategy in 21 Capital. So people are obviously buying in here at the beginning and anticipating that they are going to see these huge gains, and they're trying to get those same gains that those strategy investors have seen as Bitcoin appreciates over the next couple of years and really forever as we head into the future. I expect Cantor Equity Partners to appreciate with it, and who knows, maybe Cantor Equity Partners can outperform Bitcoin like Strategy has done. As I mentioned, 21 Capital is backed by Cantor Fitzgerald, Tether, and SoftBank, three large entities with a lot of money, and these three large entities have all contributed some money to get 21 Capital's Bitcoin stack going. 21 Capital is going to be starting off with 42,000 Bitcoin, and this makes them already the third largest corporate holder of Bitcoin behind Strategy and Marathon Digital, and it looks like they will probably be passing up Marathon Digital pretty soon here. Who knows? Maybe they already have. I don't know if they've already acquired more Bitcoin, but definitely a good sign to see this company being backed by some large players with a lot of money and a lot of resources. Tether's contribution was $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, and Tether also has 145.3 billion in assets under management. One other thing I'll note is that Cantor manages Tether's US Treasury reserves, so there's already a previous relationship there between those two entities. Cantor has contributed $200 million worth of Bitcoin, and Cantor has $13 billion in assets under management as of 2023. I couldn't get a more recent figure, so it's probably a little bit different now, but around that $13 billion. SoftBank contributed $900 million in Bitcoin, and they have 166 billion in assets under management. And then you also have Bitfinex, who contributed $600 million worth of Bitcoin. So a lot of big players here backing up this company. 21 Capital has made it clear that they have the same goal as Strategy, and that goal is to acquire as much Bitcoin as possible and also to provide as much value to their shareholders as they can. So I think we are going to see 21 Capital copy some of the strategies that Strategy is using, and the main strategy that Strategy has been using to acquire more Bitcoin is issuing convertible debt. If you're not familiar with convertible debt is basically debt with an option on it to convert the debt into equity, into stock at a future point in time. So if you are a big believer in a company and you think their stock is going to rise a lot higher and they're issuing convertible debt, well, that could be an attractive option to you as an investor, because let's say the stock does rise higher, then you can convert that debt into equity, into stock, and get all that upside. Now, there's also a safety net with convertible debt. Let's say that the stock doesn't go higher. Let's say that the company tanks for some reason or another. Well, you don't have to convert the debt into equity. In that case, you can hold on to the debt and you get paid interest if there is any. If there is any, it's typically pretty low because of all that upside with this deal, but you also get paid that principal at the end of the term. So while you may be losing in real terms, at least you're getting some of your investment back. And when we look at companies who are acquiring Bitcoin, if you are a big believer in Bitcoin, then you probably think any company who is issuing this convertible debt to buy Bitcoin is going to see their stock rise up higher. And that's been the case with Strategy. So if you are a big believer in Bitcoin, I think that this convertible debt is an attractive investment. And from the company's perspective, they're able to raise more money because it's such an attractive investment, and also because the interest rates are very low, or sometimes there's no interest. It looks like with a lot of this debt, they don't have to make all those interest payments. So it's been a pretty good strategy for acquiring Bitcoin, and I suspect that 21 Capital is going to do the same thing. I'm sure they'll also do at the market offerings where they basically expand their stock, issue new stock to buy Bitcoin, and I'm sure they'll come up with some other strategies. There are a lot of smart heads in that 21 Capital room, so we will just have to see what they do, but they are going to try their best to acquire as much Bitcoin as possible. Now let's talk about the market impact, because obviously this is huge news. You have another big player coming in and replicating the strategy. Strategy has acquired over 500,000 Bitcoin. As of the latest numbers I've seen, they have 538,200 Bitcoin. And I believe they actually just acquired a good amount more today, so it's probably even higher than that. They have over 2.5% of the total supply, and now you have another company coming in and trying to do the same thing. And this is going to lead to the supply getting eaten up a lot faster. So as the supply gets eaten up faster with another Bitcoin stacking machine out there, what's going to happen to the price? It's going to push the price higher, and as the price goes higher, what happens? Other companies get FOMO, countries get FOMO, and more people start to buy in thinking, hey, I should probably buy in now rather than wait a couple of years when the price could be 2x, 5x, 10x. So it's definitely big news. I think that it's going to make a lot of other companies think about, the urgency of this Bitcoin decision and if they want to hop in right now. As for the impact on Strategy, you could look at this and say, hey, this is a competitor to Strategy. Is this bad for Strategy? I personally think it's good for Strategy because, as I just mentioned, Strategy has a ton of Bitcoin, and the more demand for Bitcoin out there, it's going to push the price up, and it's going to push the value of Strategy's stack up. And I do think it's going to be difficult for 21 Capital to really catch up to Strategy because they have such a head start, right? If 21 Capital comes in and tries to acquire hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin, then that's going to push the price up a lot. And it's going to be more expensive to buy that Bitcoin the more they buy. So I think any demand from other companies, other corporations, from nation states, it's all good for strategy because it pushes the value of their stack higher. I think that 21 Capital is going to waste no time when it comes to getting this stack up and running. I think that they understand the urgency here. They understand that there is a lot more demand coming, and that right now with Bitcoin sitting under 100K, it is on sale. And this is a great opportunity to stack. So we will see what happens over the next month here with their stack and how much it can grow. And we'll keep our eyes on the Bitcoin price as well. We've heard a lot of murmurs that the United States could be using these budget neutral ways to acquire some more Bitcoin. So we'll see if the US comes in and makes some chunk buys. I don't know if they've already started buying Bitcoin. It seems like maybe a little bit, but we haven't seen the price move that much. And for other countries, you got to be looking at this and think about, you have to think of 21 Capital as if they are a country acquiring Bitcoin, because they are going to be doing it very aggressively and they have the resources to acquire a lot. So I think that countries are really going to have to start meeting at the table and saying, hey, is now the time to start acquiring Bitcoin? And if we do start seeing countries hopping into the game here, we could see some pretty big moves in the Bitcoin price. I think me, along with most people in the Bitcoin space, are a little bit surprised that we aren't higher right now. Obviously, all this tariff drama and sort of the exit of liquidity has had an impact on Bitcoin. But I just see so much potential demand out there. This is going to speed up corporate demand as well as nation state demand. So super bullish news. I'm super excited to see what 21 Capital turns into. And Jack Mallers is one of my favorite people in the Bitcoin space. Definitely check out the Money Matters podcast. If you're looking to learn about Bitcoin, he definitely has a lot of good discussions on there. So yeah, we will see what happens with 21 Capital, but the main takeaway, just another big bullish catalyst. And the more big bullish catalysts we get, the higher the Bitcoin price is going to go. That's going to wrap it up for this video. If you didn't like and subscribe, please make sure to do that now. Thanks for watching. I'll be back soon.